Хорошо слышно, да, звук отлично. Звук, картинка, все в порядке. Я из Zoom выйду, чтобы вам
Ага,
дополнительную нагрузку не давать на интернет, но чтобы задержка была все-таки поменьше.
хорошо.
Так, сейчас подключаюсь.
А у нас там 21 человек, да, уже?
Да,
Нормально.
так, ну, все. Мы можем стартовать,
Угу.
в принципе.
Я готов тогда.
Угу, отлично. Так, сейчас я передам вам права.
Угу.
Чтобы не- все, вы уже организатор,
Да,
да?
да, да,
Все,
да.
хорошо. Угу. Хорошо.
Угу.
Тогда сейчас стартуем. Готово. Можем стартовать, да.
Ага, хорошо. So, hey there, everyone. I hope you can hear me. So, we're going to start our lesson. So, before we start, I would like to know whether you can hear me. So, if you can hear me, type yes. So, if you can hear me, guys, type yes, and then we'll start our lesson. Okay, wonderful. So my name is Nash Akhtar. I'm an official IELTS administrator, a certified IELTS trainer, and also a director of an official IELTS testing center, and also a co-founder of Master IELTS. So today I'm going to teach you something very unique, some facts that you wouldn't have heard. And I'm pretty sure after this lesson, your preparation is going to become very effective. Quite often, IELTS is very popular, and many students, they prepare for this exam, and only a 40% they achieve their required score in their first attempt. So that's why I'm pretty sure after today's lesson, you have a clear idea how you should prepare for every section. So I have been involved in IELTS for more than 10 years. I have trained so many teachers to become official IELTS trainers. I have been involved in opening exam centers, especially in Eastern Europe. Only last week, I returned from Tashkent, Uzbekistan. So I'm pretty sure, guys, what I'm going to share will be very useful, and you can rely on the information I'm going to share with you all. Quite often, our students, they have been very successful when they prepare for this exam. So they achieve very high scores in their first attempt, like 8, 7.5, 8, 8.5, and so on. Now, maybe you must have seen many preparation centers, they boast about their results, about their students' results, but I have done my own research. And quite often, out of 100 students, only 2 or 3 students, they achieve very high scores. With Master IELTS Online, quite often, 80% of our students, they achieve 7 and higher in their first attempt. So the results of our students, they speak for themselves. And as you can see around the world, our students are very happy with their achievements, and they're thankful we are proud of their success. Riznia, for example, Dr. Riznia, now she's the UK. She's practicing as a surgeon. Sushant, for example, is in Canada. He achieved a 7.5 in IELTS General. And I'm pretty sure, guys, together with us, you also can achieve very high scores in IELTS. So that's why stay till the end, because today's lesson is going to be a game changer. First of all, I'm going to introduce IELTS, and I want you to understand the true purpose of this exam. Then misconceptions about IELTS. It's a very important part, because even when I travel around the world, when I research, trainers, even IELTS teachers, they make these mistakes. So don't fall for it. So I'm going to reveal these misconceptions, and I'm going to show you why it's not true. Then I'm going to introduce a very important skill in IELTS, and it's very important for all 4 sections. Then I'm going to show you how you should prepare effectively. Now, quite often students believe that they need to prepare for months, even for years. Some believe that if they don't have like an advanced level, they can't achieve a 7. It's not true. So that's why I'm going to introduce a very effective method, a method which is proven to achieve a very high score in IELTS. And then, guys, I'm going to show you the essential skills for all 4 sections. So stay till the end, because if you're aiming for a very high score, this lesson is going to be a game changer. Now, at the end, guys, I'm also going to show you that I'm going to introduce our IELTS expert course. It's on a special offer today. So all our participants will have this course for a special price. And, it's on a special discount. So if you want to join us at the end, do consider. So, guys, let's start about what is IELTS. Let's try to understand what is IELTS. So IELTS, it stands for International English Language Testing System. It is the most popular language test in the world. Over 3.5 million candidates take this exam every year. I've already told you only a 40% they achieve their required score in their first attempt. Quite often, students end up taking the exam several times. I had a student who had taken the exam 17 times before she joined us. Today, she's in Ireland. She's also a doctor. And the reason was not because of poor English, not because of poor grammar. She just was misguided. Remember, guys, try to understand the true purpose of this exam. A good score in IELTS certifies that a person can use English fluently in a native, professional, English-speaking environment. Now, you need to understand the true purpose of this exam. It's not about the structure. It's not just like, you need to have a knowledge about a particular subject. It's all about how you can use English fluently in a professional environment. And to be very honest, if you need a reliable language assessment tool, IELTS is the right test for you. So please do keep that in mind. So the advantages of taking IELTS. If you achieve a band 7 or higher, you will have the skill to negotiate in English. It's very important. When I travel around the world, I see that even in a hotel, a person doesn't know how to express his thoughts properly in English. Then you will have the ability to write business letters and analyze data. Now, if you take academic IELTS, you will learn how to interpret graphs, bar charts, which will be very important for your future. And quite often, people fail to write proper emails, business emails. And that's why if you prepare for this exam, you will acquire essential skills which will be helpful for you to adapt easily in a professional environment. So you will learn the ability to brainstorm in English, and also you will acquire essential skills both for listening and reading. So let's look at the advantage based on the official IELTS organization. So the first advantage is that IELTS is accepted by more countries than any other test of English. So unlike TOEFL, I mean, TOEFL is mainly for the US, and maybe you know that today IELTS is also accepted by the US. So if you want to move abroad and need English language test, IELTS is the only test that is accepted by these English-speaking immigration authorities. So Australia, Canada, New Zealand, United Kingdom. So guys, tell me about yourself. Why do you need this exam? So where are you from? And also, why do you need IELTS? Is it for immigration? Is it for your higher education? Now I would like to know about your purpose to pass IELTS. Quite often people take this exam to maybe to enter a foreign university to do their master's or bachelor's degree. So can you tell me why you need this exam? Okay. Immigration. Understood. And the required score could differ too. Sometimes for immigration, especially if you want to immigrate to Australia, you need overall 7 and not less than 7 for each section. Great. Okay, so IELTS for university, higher education, undergraduate admission. Yes, that's the purpose. Now, what's the required score? Do you need a band 7? Do you need an overall 7? Do you need an overall 8? What is the required score? Is it a 6.5? To study abroad, I see. Mazamoy says it's for a master's degree. Understood. Quite often, to enter a university in Europe, you might require a 6.57. If it's the UK, again, could be 6.57 or 7.5. It depends on the university. But for immigration, now, for example, for Canada, it could be overall 7, 7.5. Depending on your age, it could be a band 8 for listening and not less than 7 for each section. So I see that some they need 7.5, some they need 6.5, some they need 7. Great. Guys, how are you preparing for this exam? Are you preparing by yourself? Do you attend coaching classes? Do you attend group lessons? Or do you have a private tutor? I would really like to know how you're preparing at the moment. And when are you planning to take the exam? Now, who's planning to take the exam in the nearest future? Who's planning to take the exam in a month or 2? Who's taking the exam next week? Great. Yes, I agree with you. So a band 7 is considered to be a very good score, especially if we have not less than 7 for each section. Yes. So great, guys. So that's wonderful. So let's move on to the next advantage. So no other test of English is accepted by more universities, colleges, or academic institutions. So do you understand, guys? To pass this exam, if you pass this exam, it's going to be a huge benefit for you. Because if you take academic IELTS and achieve a band 7, you can apply for many universities around the world. For example, it's not just the English-speaking countries. Even you can consider Singapore, Malaysia, even Asian countries, European countries. I know that in Germany, they provide many scholarship programs. Not long ago, one of our students achieved band 7.5 and got scholarship in Germany. So the thing is, by achieving a very high score, it can open doors for you. So you do need to keep that in mind. So 11,000 institutions, and always aim for a 7. because that is the best result, 7.5. If you want, you can aim for a 9, but I can assure you, if you achieve a 7 for academic IELTS, that's a fantastic score. The third point, guys, like I know quite often people want to become fluent. They want to improve their listening skills, reading skills, writing skills, and also their speaking skills. When I was in Uzbekistan last week, I see so many Uzbeks, like, the citizens of Uzbekistan, they want to improve. They have this desire, but at times when I visited certain language schools, they don't teach students properly. It's not only in Uzbekistan, it's around the world. Today, quite often, many preparation centers, they focus on the financial benefit, they don't focus on quality. If you prepare well, if you prepare effectively for this exam, I guarantee you can improve your English skills. It could be listening, reading, writing, and speaking. That's the purpose of this exam. If you prepare effectively, and if you achieve a 7 or 7.5, it really proves that you can negotiate in English, you can attend a lecture in English and summarize the points, you can read an article and you'll be able to understand the general idea, you can narrate a story. So that's why if you look at the exam, every section, that's the main purpose of this exam. So please do keep that in mind. So speaking about the structure, there are 4 sections. We have listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Now, what do you think? Which section is the easiest? Based on your experience, which section is the easiest for you and which section is the most challenging? Then I'll share my opinion, and also I would share certain facts with you all. But what do you think? Which section is the easiest and which section is the most challenging? Now, it also could depend on the person. Some might say, like, listening is the easiest. Some might say reading is the easiest. Some might say speaking is the most challenging. And some might say writing is the most challenging. What is your opinion? Okay, so I'm getting different answers. Well, if you say listening is the easiest, you're right. If you say listening is the hardest, well, you're right too. The thing here, guys, is that you need to question yourself. Now, if you find a particular section extremely challenging, let's say it could be reading, my question for you would be, how often do you read and how well do you understand the general idea? In other words, can you enjoy a book in English without any difficulty? For example, like, you read a book in English and you can understand the general idea, or you can engage yourself. You understand the plot. And also the question is, how often do you read in English? If you read quite often, you will find IELTS reading much easier than those who don't. And also you will improve your writing skills much faster. So reading is very important, guys. And even if you make too many spelling mistakes, you can't just learn every word. The best approach would be to read, because the more you read, you will visualize those words, and that way you'll be more accurate with spellings. How often do you listen? How often do you listen to podcasts? Now, I would recommend you all to listen to podcasts. It's a very important thing. Watch movies, but I don't think that's going to be very helpful for IELTS, but still, it will anyway contribute. So if you watch movies, English videos, listen to podcasts, you will find IELTS listening much easier than those who don't. And also, you will improve your speaking skills much faster. So that's why, guys, you need to expose yourself. Now, according to statistics, listening is the first section where students achieve a band 9. Then comes reading. Then comes speaking, where they can achieve like a 7.58. Writing is considered to be the most challenging. Now, the reason for this is because it's a skill that we don't use very often. How often do you write in your native language? So it's not difficult it requires more focus. Unfortunately, today, quite often, in many courses, they don't provide proper feedback when students write essays. Also, if you check online, many online courses, they charge so much just to check 2 or 3 essays. Guys, have you done your research? Now, when I was in Uzbekistan, in Tashkent last week, I attended certain language centers, and I was very surprised that some group classes, they have 10 to 15 to 20 students, and the teacher fails to check essays. This is the same in Dubai. This is the same in Sri Lanka, when I visited Sri Lanka as well. So when I do my research, I see that quite often trainers don't train their candidates to write very good essays. I've another sentence, guys. The teacher showing a model essay where there were 500 words. How can you teach students like that? So this is the problem we have with IELTS preparation. So writing is very challenging because quite often students, they get misguided. So please don't fall for that. Please don't fall for that. So anyway, let's try to focus on every section. So let's start with listening. So the listening is the first section. It's going to be for 30 minutes, and you're given 10 minutes extra to transfer the answers from the question booklet to your answer sheet. So remember, the listening section is the first section. It's going to be for half an hour. If you're taking the paper-based test, you will have 10 minutes extra to transfer your answers from the question booklet to the answer sheet. If you're taking the computer-based test, then you will not have this extra time. Now, in listening, there are 4 sections or 4 parts. So altogether, you will have 40 questions. Now, remember, the first part or the first section is the easiest. The second part or the second section becomes slightly more challenging. Then the third section becomes even more challenging. And the fourth section is the most challenging section. And always remember, the audio is played only once. You'll be given time to read the questions before you listen and check after you listen. So you're given 20 seconds to go through the questions before they play the audio file. Please keep that in mind. You're given 20 seconds, and you need to know the strategies to implement. Quite often, students don't know that. And I'm very surprised when people believe that they can achieve a very high score in listening only by doing practice tests. Well, yes, but you need to acquire essential skills, and you need to know what to do during those 20 seconds. So guys, we're going to discuss that. I'm going to teach you the 4 essential skills. I mean, these skills are very important to tackle any question in IELTS listening. And in case you guys have questions about the listening section, please write. I'll answer them a bit later. So how to achieve a band 9 in listening? Like I've already said, you need to expose yourself. So guys, listen to BBC podcast and watch documentaries. They say bad habits are easy to start, but hard to live with. Good habits are difficult to start, but easy to live with. Now, don't spend too much time on social media, watching different things, but invest your time wisely. And I would say the best thing to do today is to listen to some podcast based on topics that you like. Then, guys, you need to know the approach, or you need to know how to approach every question type. Then, before you take the exam, once you have acquired all the essential skills, before you take the exam, you need to do at least 4 to 6 practice tests. And then you need to assess your progress. Now, that's our approach with our IELTS expert course. We have weekly live lessons. And also, guys, you work on our platform. It's very interactive, and I'm pretty sure you will find it useful. So like I said, the expert course is on a special offer today. We will discuss that a bit later, but make sure to expose yourself. That's a very important part in listening. So the 4 essential skills are paraphrasing, identifying keywords, predicting the missing words, and identifying distractors. So these are the 4 essential skills. Now, do you implement these skills when you do listening tests, when you practice listening? Do you implement these skills, guys? when you read a question, do you identify keywords? Do you pay attention to paraphrasing? Do you predict the missing word if you have to fill in a gap? And do you pay attention to distractors? Now, this is a question you need to ask. If you say no, even to achieve a band 6 would be very challenging in listening. So guys, when it comes to IELTS listening, you need to know the approach to every question type. Irrespective of this part or the section, you will have different types of questions. You will have sentence completion, multiple choice questions, matching. You need to complete a plan, map, or a diagram. You need to complete a form, notes, tables, and you need to know how to answer short answer questions. So that's a very important part. Now, when it comes to IELTS reading, remember after have reading part is going to be 60 minutes, and there'll be 3 passages if you're taking academic IELTS. If you're taking general IELTS, you will have 3 sections. Now, remember, the first passage will be the easiest. The second will be more complex, and the last will be the most complex. The same goes with general reading. The first section will be the easiest. The second will be more complex, and the third section will be the most challenging. Now, I always tell my students to manage their time effectively. Since the first passage is the easiest, you need to spend 15 minutes on the first passage. Then for the second passage, you need to spend 20 minutes. And for the third passage, you need to spend 25 minutes. So remember the formula, please write it down. 15 minutes for the first passage, 20 minutes for the second passage, and 25 minutes for the third passage. The same goes with general reading. 15 minutes for the first section, 20 minutes for the second section, 25 minutes for the third section. Now, for general reading guides, for the first section, you will have 2 small passages. It could be a newspaper article. It could be some basic information, and you need to kind of, answer questions based on that. With the second section, the same. You will have 2 small passages, but for the third section, there'll be 1 long passage. Like listening, in reading, you'll have 40 questions, but unlike listening, you will not have extra time if you're taking the paper-based test. So you need to write down all the answers within 60 minutes. Even if you have to transfer your answers from the question booklet to the answer sheet, you need to do that within 60 minutes. So please keep that in mind. Now, how to achieve a band 9 in reading? Of course, you need to read on a daily basis. Guys, never do things only to pass the IELTS exam. That approach will not be helpful. And never believe in those who are saying that the exam is extremely difficult and you need to do practice tests. You need to do it. But apart from that, it's the exposure. Why would a native speaker find IELTS reading or IELTS listening easier than a non-native speaker? Because it's something that they do on a regular basis. So it's very practical. You need to read on a daily basis, read newspaper articles, read, some blogs online, and read things that you like, topics that you are interested in. That's a very important part. Then, like listening, you need to become familiar with every question type. Now, that's a very important part. And then, guys, you need to learn the step-by-step approach to every question type. So you need to understand what types of questions are there in IELTS reading. Maybe we have matching headings, true, false, not given, multiple choice questions, short answer questions. So you need to know how to approach. That's a very important part. So the 4 essential skills are skimming, scanning, paraphrasing, and identifying keywords. In listening, we have paraphrasing, identifying keywords, paying attention to distractors, and predicting the missing words. But in reading, we have skimming, scanning, paraphrasing, and identifying keywords. So as you can see, guys, both for listening and for reading, we need to focus on paraphrasing. Believe me, The same goes with writing and also in speaking. So types of questions in reading, we have matching headings, true, false, not given, yes, no, not given, multiple choice questions, summary completions, short answer questions, sentence completions, and locating information in a paragraph. Now, if you're already preparing for this exam, I have a question for you. Do you know the step-by-step approach to every question type? Do your teachers teach you the approach to every question type? Or they just make you do questions? If they do that, guys, believe me, that's not the correct approach. Is this my tip? Of course not. These are the guidelines from the British Council. So you need to keep that in mind. If you know the approach to every question type, to achieve a band 9 is just a walk in the park. It's really easy. If you know the approach to type in listening, to achieve a 9 is really easy. So it's a very important point you need to keep in mind. Okay. Now, like I discussed, you saw that in listening, we need to focus on paraphrasing. In reading, we need to focus on paraphrasing. In writing, we need to focus on paraphrasing. In speaking, we do need to paraphrase. So it's a very important skill. In other words, we call IELTS as a paraphrasing exam. We call it as a paraphrasing exam. So what is paraphrasing? Paraphrasing means expressing the same meaning in a different way. This is done by replacing certain words with synonyms or by changing the word form and changing the structure of a sentence. So there are 3 ways of paraphrasing. We can change the word form, like a noun to a verb, adjective to an adverb. We can also replace certain words with synonyms. Not all the words, by the way, certain words. And also we can change the word order. But we should not change the overall meaning. Now, that's a very important part. So here is an example. The new iPhone 15, I hope it will exist. So the new iPhone 15 will be released in September. And the paraphrase sentence says, the launch of the new iPhone 15 will be in September. So what have we done here? Released, we have replaced with the word launch, and we have used the noun form and changed the word order. The launch of the new iPhone 15 will be in September. So guys, let's get a bit engaged. I want to make the lesson even more interactive for you all. So ways to paraphrase. The first way is to convert the word form. Look at the first example. It says, Yanni was the composer of Winds of Orchids. Yanni was the composer. What is the verb form of composer? And what should be the answer here? Yanni, as you can see, the missing word is a verb in the past. So what should be the answer here? Yanni, Winds of Orchids. Yanni was the composer of Winds of Orchids. Yanni, Winds of Orchids. And as you can see, composer is the noun form. What is the verb form of composer? What should be the answer here? You should not have much time. So it should be Yanni. So the verb form is to compose. So Yanni composed Winds of Orchids. It's a no-brainer, right? She performed really well at the concert. She gave an excellent. So what's the noun form of to perform? As you can see, the missing word is noun. So she gave an excellent at the concert. Should be a no-brainer again. So she gave an excellent performance, right? To perform, the missing word is a noun. So we convert the verb form to its noun form. So she gave an excellent performance. Sarah and her friend had creative differences. Sarah and her friend. So remember, the verb form of difference is differ. So it was in the past. So the answer here should be Sarah and her friend differed creatively. So guys, well done. Almost all of you gave me the right answers. So the third one, the answer is Sarah and her friend differed creatively. Sarah and her friend differed creatively. Simple as that. Great. Well done. So remember, especially in IELTS listening and also in reading, sometimes you need complete sentences by filling in the missing word. So before you listen, predict the missing word. Try to understand whether it's a noun or a verb or an adjective or an adverb. Even when in reading, right? If there is a sentence completion task, try to first predict what kind of word is missing. Then try to think about the information. And based on that, guys, when you read the text, you'll be able to identify the correct answer. So it's a very important part. And sometimes, you need to deal with the word form. So that's why it's important. The next one is what we love, especially in Eastern Europe, right? To replace words with. Now, remember, you're very careful. Always remember, first focus on the adjectives, then the adverbs, then the verbs, and then the nouns. Now, look at the example here. It says, technology plays an important role in the education sector. Now, important is the adjective, and it's an overused word. Can you give me synonyms for important? Technology plays an important role in the education sector. Can you give me synonyms for important? I'm pretty sure you can come up with more than one option. You can give me several options here. Important. What other words can we use instead of important? So we can say, well done, vital. Very good. Significant. Okay. What else? Crucial, essential. Well done. Very good. So vital, crucial, significant, essential. Lovely. Key role. Lovely. Now, do you see, when it comes to adjectives, we can always come up with more than one option. So vital, significant, crucial, essential. Well done, guys. So that's why in IELTS listening, when you read a question, identify keywords. Now, remember, keywords are words which are important to understand the question better. So these keywords could be adjectives, adverbs, verbs. And whenever you see like who played the most important role, and when you listen, they might say, John's role was significant. So you'll always hear, you might hear synonyms, or they might say it in a different way. So it's a very important part, guys. Have you learned this? And I always tell my students, whenever you read a question and when you identify keywords, and if there are adjectives and adverbs, think about synonyms or try to say it in a different way before you listen. In a true or false not given question in reading, read the statement, identify keywords, and try to say it in your own words before you read the text. This way, you will understand the statement better. Quite often people say, like, I don't understand how to differentiate false and not given. So it's a very important part, guys. Very good. Let's push ourselves a bit further. Look at number 1. Smoking is bad for health. Smoking is bad for health. Can you give me synonyms for bad? What other words can we use instead of bad? Number 2, it says it is a big problem. So pay attention to the words which are in bold. Can you give me synonyms? So let's focus on number 1. Smoking is bad for health. Now, we also need to pay attention to the sentence. So harmful would be the best option. Well done. Harmful, detrimental, destructive. Harmful, detrimental, destructive. Very good. Number 2, it is a big problem. Big problem. You see, at the exam, both in speaking and in writing, when the examiner sees that you use words such as good, bad, big, small, you will not stand out. I mean, your writing will look poor, so will your speaking. So you should not use words such as big, small, important. These are overused words. So big problem, huge, well done. But what about problem? What words can we use instead of problem? Now, very good. I see nice options for the first one, dangerous, harmful, very good. What about problem, guys? What words can we use instead of problem? Now, we can use words such as concern, right? If we have a problem, that means it's a challenge. It's an issue. It's an obstacle. So we can use words such as issue, well done, very good, issue, challenge, obstacle, concern. Concern means that, we worry. We can use such words. Number 3, we must save the environment. Save, we can use protect. The children need, children require. So here are the examples, like smoking is bad. Instead of bad, we can use harmful or detrimental. It is a big problem. We can say major concern, serious issue. We must save. Instead of save, we can say we must protect or preserve the environment. Children need. Instead of need, we can use require. So always remember, when you want to replace certain words with synonyms, when you want to replace certain words with synonyms, especially when you're writing an introduction in essay writing, focus on the adjectives. When you read the essay question, focus on the adverbs, because that way it'll be easier to come up with synonyms for adjectives and adverbs and then the verbs. But be careful with nouns, with the subject. If you replace the subject with synonyms, you can alter the meaning. You can change the meaning. So guys, remember, if you want to expand your vocabulary, if you want to impress the examiner, you can do that by learning synonyms for adjectives and adverbs. And it's an easy way to expand your vocabulary. For example, in the speaking part, if the examiner asks, is it important to dance in your culture? Don't say, yes, it's important to dance in our culture. You can say, yes, it is. Dancing has always been a crucial part in our culture. Dancing has always been a crucial part in our culture. Guys, when it comes to IELTS speaking, I'm very surprised when I do my research that quite often teachers don't provide constructive feedback. And that's why in our expert course, we have a special offer today. In our expert course, we conduct weekly speaking lessons, and in every group, there are only 8 to maximum 9 students. And these lessons are conducted by our ex-examiners, and they will tell you how to answer every question type in speaking, like how often, what, why, part 2 speaking. So it's very interactive. Already those who joined our IELTS expert course, they love our speaking workshop. So guys, the third way of paraphrasing, so we know the first way to change the word form. The second way is to replace certain words with synonyms. The third way is to use the passive voice. We use passive voice when we don't want to focus on who's doing the action, but on who's receiving or experiencing the action. So look at the first one. The government should take immediate measures. Immediate measures should be taken by the government. Parents should teach children foreign languages at an early stage. Foreign languages should be taught to children at an early stage. So what have we done here? We have changed the word order by using the passive voice in order to focus more on the action. That's why if you look at the second example, once again, we say foreign languages should be taught to children at an early stage. Foreign languages should be taught to children at an early stage. So we focus on the action, but we don't mention who should be responsible. So these are the ways of paraphrasing. I'm pretty sure it will be important. Now let's see how we can use paraphrasing, or let's try to understand the importance of paraphrasing in reading. So we're going to do a bit of true, false, not given in IELTS reading. It's pretty common, very common question type. I'm going to show you the steps and let's do it. So guys, I hope you are ready for the challenge. If you are, just say yes and let's start. So you will see the instruction the following way. Do the following statements agree with the information given in the text below? In boxes 1 to 6 on your answer sheet, write true if the statement agrees with the information, false if the statement contradicts the information, not given if there is no information on this. So guys, when you read the statement and when you see the same information in the passage, it's true. If the passage gives the opposing information from the statement, it's false. If you can't find any information based on the statement, it's not given. So please don't rush. It's about Learn With Us courses. Look at the statement. It says, you can work through parts of a course more than once. You can work parts of a course more than once. So before you read the paragraph, try to understand the statement properly. It says, you can work through parts of a course more than once. What are the key words here? What words would you underline in order to understand the statement better? You can work through parts of a course more than once. So what words would you underline? So here I would say, can work through parts of a course more than once. And rephrase it. Say it in your own words. What does it mean? It says, you can work through parts of a course more than once. That means can work through parts of a course more than once. Then rephrase it. I would say this means that we can repeat a section of a course. We can repeat a section of a course several times. We can repeat a section of a course several times. That means we can repeat a part of a course more than once. That means twice, thrice, and so on. So guys, can you read the first 3 lines and tell me whether it's true, false, or not given? You will not find the same sentence, right? Word by word, it will be rephrased. Is it true, false, or not given? It should be a no-brainer. Okay, I can see the answers. Guys, look at the sentence in bold. It says, all our courses are taken online using a computer. So you can work through the course at your own speed and go back to any session whenever you want to. All our courses are taken online using a computer. So you can work through the course at your own speed and go back to any session whenever you want to. That means we can work through parts of a course more than once. So it's true. Exactly. Exactly. So that's why paraphrasing is important. Do you understand this skill, the importance of this skill? So whenever you read a statement, first underline the keywords. Then guys, before you read the text, try to rephrase it. Try to say it in your own words. This way, you will understand the statement better. Then, based on the name, based on the subject, try to scan the paragraph and then try to locate the information and read carefully and see whether it's true, whether it's false, or not given. What about this one? Number 2, it says, the number of courses offered by Learn With Us has increased enormously. The number of courses offered by Learn With Us has increased enormously. The number of courses offered by Learn With Us has increased enormously. So what are the words that you would underline? Can you identify keywords here? The number of courses offered by Learn With Us has increased enormously. I would underline number of courses, Learn With Us increased enormously. And whenever there is an adverb, that's the trickiest part, enormously. So let's try to understand the statement better. That means, guys, from 5 courses to 100 courses enormously. So have they increased the number of courses they offer significantly from 5 to 100? Or is it the opposite from the text? Now, if you read the text and when you see a statement like, we used to offer 1,000 courses, but now we offer only 50, that means this statement is false. If you see a statement like, we used to offer 10 courses, but now we offer 100 courses, that's a remarkable increase. Then this statement is true. If you don't see such information, it's not given. So see for that key phrase, increase significantly, or see the numbers from what it used to be to now. Can you read further and tell me whether this statement is true, false, or not given? If you don't see any information about significant increase, then this statement is not given. Do not rush. At the beginning, guys, when you need to take some time. Be attentive. Guys, don't fall for that number that you see, like 1,500, right? No. See whether they have increased the number of courses they offer significantly. Do you see this information? If you don't, it's not given. If you see this statement, it could be true. If you see the opposing statement information, then it's false. Well done. It's not given. Absolutely. It's not given. There is no such information, right? They say that if I read further, for some courses, there are workbooks and so on. It says we offer hundreds of courses in a whole range of subjects from reading, writing, business and management, maths to business and management. Many of these are specially designed for people, but nothing about an increase, guys. Nothing about a significant increase. Well done. Very good. So that's why paraphrasing is important. Always remember, in any question, when you read, you need to identify keywords. Keywords are adjectives, adverbs, the subject itself. Then you need to kind of rephrase it to understand the statement better. This way, you'll be able to differentiate true, false, and not given. Well done. Very good. Lovely. Now let's move on to writing. And I'm going to share some important points. So guys, be attentive. It's a very important part. And also remember, guys, in our IELTS expert course, we will teach you how to approach every question type. And every week, you will have live lessons with our experts, with me, and it's very interactive. And you will understand how to improve your reading skills and also your listening skills. So it's on a special offer today, guys. You can click and understand the price of the course, and you will not get such courses for this price anywhere else. And especially when I was traveling around and when I was in Uzbekistan, in Sri Lanka, or Dubai, I understand that preparation courses either are extremely expensive and still it's like, not well structured, or it is affordable, but, you don't have that individual attention. The IELTS expert course is a game changer. So please pay attention to that. It's on a special offer. You can click and find out more details about our IELTS expert course. Now let's focus on writing. Now, try to be very attentive, guys. It's a very important section. You know that writing is very challenging. Quite often, students fail to achieve even 6 for writing, 6.5 they fail to achieve. So now let's see why. So remember, the IELTS writing test lasts for 60 minutes, and you will need to complete 2 writing tasks. In task 1, you're given a task based on graphs and processes for academic IELTS. Those who are taking general IELTS will have to write a letter in task 1. So the word count should be at least 150 words for task 1 and 250 words for task 2. So remember the difference between task 1 and task 2, guys. In task 1, if you're taking academic IELTS, you need to describe graphs, bar charts, and pie charts. For general IELTS, for task 1, you need to write letters. And it should be not less than 150 words, both for task 1 and for task 2. So remember, for essay writing, guys, it should be not less than 250 words. So by the way, guys, let's try to understand how to achieve a CERN Plus in writing. It's really easy. You just need to meet the requirements. So you need to write essays based on the marking criteria. So for task 2, there are 4 criteria: task response, coherence and cohesion, vocabulary, and grammar. So you need to know how to improve your score in every criterion. Now you need to see whether your trainer, whether your tutor provides feedback based on the marking criteria. It's a very important part. You cannot improve your band score if you don't receive feedback based on the marking criteria. So that's a very important point. So let's see what we should do for every criterion. So to achieve a band 7 and higher, to achieve 7, 7.5, or 8, for task response, make sure to write the specified number of words. So for task 2, it should be 250 words. For task 1, it should be 150 words. Your style of writing should be very academic. So do not make it too personal. And always make sure to understand the question correctly. And also, guys, cover all the points of the task. Now, in our expert course, we will teach you how to understand the question properly. Now, remember, whenever you read an essay question, there are 3 components: the topic, the viewpoint, and the question. Sometimes a candidate might say, like, at the exam, I wrote a very good essay, everything was great, but when they receive their results, they are shocked. They say, how did I achieve a band 5? Maybe they misunderstood the question. So that's why you need to learn how to understand the essay question properly. So always need to differentiate 3 components: the topic, the viewpoint, and the question. So that's a very important part. Coherence and cohesion. Now, even a person who is extremely fluent can lose marks in this criterion, because in a task 2 essay, you need to have at least 4 paragraphs. Maybe there should be a clear introduction, 2 supporting paragraphs, and a conclusion. So make sure to use paragraphs appropriately. Use linking devices. We will look into it today. Arrange your ideas logically. It's a very important part for coherence. Support all ideas with relevant examples and draw a relevant conclusion. So it's a very important part in task 2 writing. Then for lexical resources, use less common words, use topical vocabulary, avoid repetition of words, be accurate with spelling. So try to be accurate with spelling, guys. It's a very important part. So that can influence lexical resources or vocabulary. For grammar, of course, we need to minimize our grammar mistakes. We need to use a variety of sentence structures, and we need to minimize mistakes with articles and punctuation. So you see, you cannot achieve a very high score overnight. You can't improve your writing skills within a day or 2. But the more essays you write, and if you receive constructive feedback, you will definitely improve your writing skills irrespective of your level. Irrespective of your level. So that's a very important point. Because common mistakes are poor structuring, poorly developing ideas, informal style of writing, and poor grammar and sentence skills. Now, you could be a person who's quite fluent in speaking, and maybe you even know a friend who took the IELTS exam, got like a band 8 or 7.5 in speaking, but achieved a band 6 in writing. This is not because of poor English, not because of poor grammar, but maybe because of informal style of writing, or maybe fails to develop ideas properly. So that's why, guys, writing requires proper structured method of learning. If you don't get that, you cannot achieve a very high score. So guys, we spoke about proper structuring of paragraphs. Now, I have 2 examples here. Can you read these 2 paragraphs and tell me the best paragraph? the paragraph that is structured properly. Now, always remember, when you write your supporting paragraphs, every paragraph should have a clear topic sentence, and the whole paragraph should reflect that topic sentence. And you need to generate your ideas logically, and you need to use linkers properly. So can you read these two paragraphs and tell me which paragraph is structured well? Is it A or B? And you need to see whether you structure a paragraph the following way, whether you're also able to structure your paragraphs the following way. Is it A or B? Look at the first one. The obvious reason for stressful working atmosphere nowadays is the increasing level of competitiveness among employees. Consequently, this leads to a hostile atmosphere in the working environment. The best solution for this is for employers to create team activities. For instance, it is known that many international companies organize tasks focusing on teams which have made the employees perform effectively in a relaxed atmosphere. So yes, it's A. It's a no-brainer. It's A. It's not B. And agreed, B is more like a personal story. Well done. Very good. Very good. So you need to first learn how to structure sentences. Then you need to learn how to write introductions for every essay type. Then you need to learn how to structure paragraphs. Then you need to learn how to write conclusions. Automatically, you'll be able to write a very good essay. Then you need to learn how to use complex structures. Then you need to know how to be accurate with articles and punctuation. Then you need to know how to expand your vocabulary on different topics like crime, technology, globalization. Then we have environment. So there are so many, like 8 common topics, and you need to know how to expand your vocabulary. So that's a very important part, guys. Well done. Very good. Let's move forward. Now, as you can see, I just have an example from one of our students from Russia, and it's a very well-structured paragraph. Look, it says public transport has a number of advantages. Firstly, it's the most economical option to travel around the city. For instance, in Moscow, the monthly subway ticket costs 10 times cheaper than maintaining a private vehicle. Moreover, public transport can be convenient, especially during peak hours. This could be illustrated by the increasing tendency to use the subway during office hours. Therefore, the role of public transport will always be significant. So guys, every time when you start a paragraph, there should be a clear topic sentence. So if you're really aiming for a very high score, if you want to really invest your time wisely, you need to really question yourself now whether you're preparing properly for this exam. So now let's move on to the IELTS speaking part. Remember, the speaking part usually lasts for 11 to 14 minutes. There are 3 sections. Part 1, questions about yourself. Part 2 is a monologue. You'll have 1 minute to prepare and need to speak for 2 minutes. Part 3, question based on general issues where you have to give your opinion, analyze, or predict. So to be honest, guys, quite often students tell me like, oh, I got this topic at the exam. The examiner asked me to describe a wild animal. Oh God, how to answer that question? Remember, the examiner is not interested in what you say. He's mostly interested in how you answer. It's a very important part. So that's why when you prepare for the speaking part, you need to know how to answer different question types. Now, if you join us, if you join our IELTS expert course, we will teach you how to answer WH questions, the approach to part 2 speaking, how to answer comparative questions, because these question types are pretty common, and you need to know the approach to answer different question types. And then, depending on the topic, you need to know how to use a good range of vocabulary. Now, that comes with practice. That's why, guys, our speaking workshops are really helpful. because these workshops are conducted by ex-examiners and certified IELTS trainers. And I can tell you for the past 2 months, students who join our speaking workshops, they are in love with our speaking workshops. And it's a pleasure to hear that. And I see why they appreciate it, because quite often, especially when I was in Tashkent, I saw in a class, there are 22 to 25 students. I don't know how those courses can be effective. If it's like another subject, maybe science, right? Or maybe, I don't know, maybe, you're attending a history lesson, it's fine. But when it comes to skills like speaking, writing, the teacher has to give attention, pay attention to every student and provide feedback. So now I'm going to show you what you should do to achieve a 7+ in IELTS speaking. Same as writing, you need to answer according to the marking criteria. So speaking is assessed based on 4 criteria: fluency and coherence, pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary. So for fluency and coherence, you need to develop your answers logically. You need to minimize hesitation. You need to use transitions and linking words correctly, and you need to speak at a good speed. So look at the model answer. What do you like about your job? Now, you can't say like, I like the salary, I like the working environment, I like bosses. And I'm even surprised, one of the YouTube channels for IELTS preparation, even the model answers are pretty surprising. You don't speak like that. Look at the model answer. What do you like about your job? Well, there are a number of things that I appreciate about my job. Firstly, it's the working environment. We have a very organized structure and all of us work as a team, which is very important for me. On top of that, there is a lot of job satisfaction. In other words, it's always pleasing to see your customers satisfied with your work. Do you see the coherence, the logical structuring? Firstly, it's the working environment, and then explain. We have a very organized structure and all of us work as a team, which is very important for me. On top of that, you see, adding the second reason to like the job. On top of that, there is a lot of job satisfaction. In other words, it's always pleasing to see your customers satisfied with your work. So guys, when you answer WH questions like what, why, you need to follow this approach. It's very important because the examiner will pay attention to your coherence. And even if a person is quite fluent, can lose marks if they are not coherent. So it's a very important part. What do you like about your university? Here is another model answer. So don't just say, I love my teachers, I love the way we are taught, I love my batchmates. Look at the model answer. Honestly, I feel privileged to study at my university because I'm satisfied with almost everything. Firstly, I admire our lecturers. They are so committed and always willing to help us. On top of that, I'm happy with the quality of education. In fact, my university is well known for the teaching standards. And finally, I shouldn't forget to mention the overall atmosphere. There is a lot of positive energy around, which is motivating. So you need to kind of speak the following way. Now, that's the importance of practicing and also receiving proper guidance to improve your speaking skills. Now, that's why, guys, our IELTS expert course has been a game changer. And I always emphasize on our speaking workshops, it's a great opportunity. And I believe that's why our students, I'm going to share our results again, they achieved 7.5, 7 within 5 weeks, not after months of preparation, not after years of preparation, but sometimes within 5 to 8 weeks, within 2 months, they achieve very high scores in speaking because they get that feedback and that constant practice. It's very important. And also you need to know, or you need to kind of ask yourself whether you pronounce words properly. Now, for example, the first word is pronounced as desert, and the second one, dessert. So desert is actually the Sahara Desert, a huge land with a lot of sand, a dry area, or dessert, expertise, and informative. And also you need to know how to chunk. You know, I love my job. Look at the second example. You know, I love my job. So as you can see, after there's a comma, so you need to make a short pause. Like, I love my job. So whenever you speak in English, you need to know how to break a sentence naturally to create clarity. Look at the third example. Ever since I finished high school, I haven't met with my batchmates. And as you can see, there is a comma after the dependent clause. You need to make a short pause there. Ever since I finished high school, I haven't met with my batchmates. Also learn to vary your intonation. So whenever there is a complex structure, when you use a complex sentence, when the dependent clause comes first, have an ascending tone followed by a descending tone. Like, ever since I finished high school, I haven't met with my batchmates. So you need to kind of speak like this. You need to work on your intonation, work on your pronunciation in order to achieve a 7 or higher in this criterion. So do you receive feedback based on criteria? That's an important question. So when it comes to vocabulary, you do need to use uncommon words. You need to use spoken language. Try to paraphrase and use the correct word form. Do you like sports? You can say, I do. I've always been a huge fan of sports. To be more precise, I'm crazy about football because I just love experiencing tense moments. So use redundant words like, well, actually, this will make you sound natural. And also, guys, repeat the same words from the questions. So I respect my father. You can say, I look up to my father. A beautiful view, a picturesque view. I always tell my students, when you come across new words or expressions, create your own examples. Now, tell me a person that you look up to. Now, I look up to my father because he's been a great role model. What about you guys? Write your examples. Tell me about a person that you look up to. And this way you will remember this phrase, look up to. So tell me about a person that you look up to. Create your own examples. Type your example. I would like to know a person that you look up to. Do you look up to a teacher? Do you look up to a professor? It could be an uncle, maybe your grandma, your grandpa, and why? Give reasons. Now, I look up to my father, but he's been a great role model. What about you? You see, when you create your own examples, you will for sure remember words and phrases. You can't just have a list and know the meaning, because quite often students tell me, Nash, like I know the word, but I can't use it at the right time because your subconscious mind is not prepared to use it because it feels like it's not familiar with that word. But if you create your own examples, you will remember it. You will definitely remember it. So waiting for your examples, guys. Well done. And whenever you come up with your example, say it loud, speak it out. Because, if you do it, then you trigger your subconscious mind. And that way you will remember it. So that's a very important part. Then when it comes to grammar, guys, remember, you need to avoid or minimize grammar mistakes, and you need to use a variety of sentence structures. So that's crucial. So quite often, even the ones who are fluent, when they speak, maybe they're quite confident, they're quite flexible, but they don't use complex structures. And even they don't know what are complex sentences. So it's a very important part in speaking. You need to know how to use complex structures. The same goes with writing. You need to know how to use complex structures, both in speaking and in writing. It is crucial. It's very important. Fine, guys. Now, let's move on to the test. I want you to read this question and choose the best option. It says, do you like to read? Number one, the first option says, I do. I enjoy reading because it helps me to unwind myself I've always enjoyed reading because it helps me to unwind myself. Number 3, yes, I like to read. Number 4, well, reading has always been my passion since it helps me to unwind myself. So can you choose the correct option? Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4? It's a no-brainer. Yes. Number 4. Well, reading has always, so we have used a redundant word here, well, and you see, we've used present perfect, like from the past till now, right? Reading has always been my passion since it helps me to unwind myself. Now, number 2 is also not bad. Number 2 is also acceptable. What I want to hear is that make sure to paraphrase and also give reasons for your preference when you come across such questions like, do you like to read? Don't just say, yes, I like to read. It's better to say, I do. I've always enjoyed reading because it helps me to relax. So give reasons for your preference. So number 4 is the best option. So guys, the only way you can improve your speaking skills is to create your own examples. Number 2, speak out loud and also become familiar with the question types. That's a very important thing. So to achieve a 7+ give longer answers, use topic-related vocabulary. You need to use idioms. Guys, for vocabulary to achieve a 7, you must use idiomatic expressions. You have to. Then you need to use wide range of sentence structures, minimize hesitation. If you speak like the following way, well, and so on, if you hesitate, it cannot go beyond a 6, and sequence your ideas and use linkers effectively. It's the same for writing and it's the same for speaking. So pay attention to that. Now, the question is, guys, do you receive such feedback? That's important. Now, like I said, let's try to focus on the misconceptions about IELTS. The first one is IELTS is a very difficult exam. It's not. It's not a very difficult exam. It becomes difficult if you are disorganized with your preparation. If you start immediately with practice test, of course, you will feel horrible. If you just attend lessons where there is no proper structure, of course, it will be difficult. But if you follow an effective method, you can achieve a high score in your first attempt. The second one is you need to be extremely fluent to achieve a band 7 and higher. Believe me, research has shown that not all who speak fluently achieve a high score in IELTS. Do you know the average score of a native speaker is a 6.5? You go to IELTS.org, you can find all the statistics of every region, and you will understand it's not about being fluent. So it's all about acquiring the essential skills. And the third misconception, and actually I'm very sad to see this in many countries where preparation centers, they exploit this. They mislead clients. They say to achieve a very high score, you need to prepare for years. And students believe that. But we've had students who achieved 7+ in their first attempt in 3 months, 2 to 3 months. The best example is this lady. Her name is Olga Rysinova. She had a pre-intermediate level, guys. She had a pre-intermediate level. After our IELTS expert course, in 3 months, she achieved 7.5. And as you can see, she has a 6.5 for speaking. She wasn't that fluent, but she achieved a 7.5 in 3 months after the preparation. If she can do it, I'm pretty sure you all can do it too. So this idea about preparing for a year or 2, I don't agree. Last week, I met a lady in Tashkent. Her daughter has been preparing for the exam for 2 years. And the preparation center says that she's still a band 6, which is unbelievable. You don't have to prepare for so long. And my dear students, remember, we can always earn money. So if you spend money, you can earn it. But time, you will not get it back, right? So it's always important in anything that we do in life to invest our time wisely. The same goes with this lady, Maria. She achieved a band 8 in 3 months, and she had an intermediate level. Sergey is actually my student who prepared for like 6 weeks. He was in a rush, but he took our IELTS expert course. He completed all the tasks on our platform immediately. He attended our speaking workshops and so on. And he achieved an overall 8 within 2 months, you see. So it's like 6 to 7 weeks, I would say. So achieved very high results. So the road to achieve a plus is, it's not a secret. You need to be organized with your preparation. So that's why it should be a gradual process. Now, how often do you just attend a course? They say, come for a free lesson. You go, you see they do listening and reading. Okay, fine. Next day you go and the teacher does show a model essay and says, write an essay. How can you write when you don't know how to structure sentences? How can you write an essay when you don't know how to structure an introduction? So it should be a gradual process. If you're not doing that, you will never, I'm sorry to say, guys, you will never achieve a very high score. So that's why this APIA method is crucial. So the first step is to acquire essential skills. The second is practice what you've learned. Like I said, you learn a new word, you practice by creating your own examples, then you will remember. Then you try to implement that. Then you assess. The same goes with writing. First, you learn how to write introductions. Then you learn how to write supporting paragraphs and conclusion. Then you practice writing essays. Then you implement when you take a mock exam. Then you assess. You should receive feedback. And no teacher should provide feedback the following way, like, oh, I like your ideas. Wow, I love your example. Wow, I like that vocabulary, so it's a 7. No, it should be based on the marking criteria. And believe me, if you want to achieve like a 7 or even 8, at least 8 essays should be checked. Many online courses, they check only 4. I don't know how effective it can be. So this is the best method. Same goes with listening and reading. Guys, listening, you learn the approach to every question type. Then you focus on every section. You start with simpler tasks that will build your confidence. Gradually, you move on to exam practice test. But you should not start with exam practice tests without acquiring essential skills. So the API method has proven to be very effective. For the past 10 years, Master IELTS has been very successful with the IELTS expert course. So that's why, guys, it's on a special offer. We work online. So every week you will have speaking workshops. There'll be live webinars and you will have daily tasks on our platform. So you will have speaking workshops. The workshops are conducted by IELTS ex-examiners and certified trainers. I'm going to introduce my team. Then you will have live webinars for listening and reading once a week, and you have live webinars for writing. So the webinars will be Tuesdays and Thursdays or Mondays and Wednesdays. So the best part about the webinars or the live lessons is that if you can't attend, you will have access to our recordings. So you will not miss a single lesson. So that's the best part. Then the weekly speaking workshops, it could be on Fridays or it could be on Saturdays. So you can choose the time that is convenient for you. And then, guys, if you miss a lesson, you can join the next one. So you will not miss a single lesson. So, guys, it's on a special offer. It's really affordable. I was in Tashkent not long ago, so I have to speak about it. I see that courses are like $66 per month, group lessons, 22 to 25 lessons, students in a group. The same goes for Sri Lanka, Dubai, India, all these countries. And I guess it's very common, even Kazakhstan. I know how it works. So for the $66 per month, the quality of teaching is not that great. I'm sorry to say this. Guys, for the amount you're going to pay for the IELTS expert course, it's on a special offer. You get unlimited access for 6 months to our platform. You'll be prepared by ex-examiners, and the knowledge you're going to get, guys, it's so valuable. It's so valuable. Then you will have special focus on writing and speaking. Why? Because for writing, we will check up to 12 essays. For speaking, you're going to have weekly speaking workshops, and we guarantee your score. What does it mean? We are so confident that you will achieve your desired score in your first attempt. In case you don't, we're going to prepare you for free until you achieve your required score. So you only pay once to master IELTS, only once. And that's actually for 2 months, and that's it. So you just pay once this amount, and you are going to join a team of experts who are experienced enough to help you to achieve your required score in your first attempt. So remember, overall, the weekly lessons and the live sessions are going to be for 2 months, but you will prepare on our platform for 6 months. So you have access to our platform for unlimited video lessons, printouts where you learn vocabulary and so on. You'll have access to our platform for 6 months. So guys, what do you learn? So the structure for the listening section in the IELTS expert course, remember, you'll have weekly webinars with a certified IELTS trainer. So the weekly webinars are conducted by me and also my teammates. I'm going to introduce my team. So all of them are experts. You will have 12 units of IELTS listening with interactive lessons. So guys, let me go briefly. In IELTS listening, we will teach you how to be accurate with spelling, what's the approach for listening section 1. Quite often, you'll have to listen to numbers. It's a bit confusing. Students find it challenging. We will teach you that, how to be more attentive. There are certain techniques. We will teach you how to complete tables, how to answer matching questions. So every lesson is dedicated to a question type. Where will you find courses where they focus on every question type? So that's the approach for IELTS listening. And at the end, you'll have 5 to 7 complete practice tests. And like I said, every week you will practice with us. And then during our weekly webinars, we will train you further. Reading, the same. Weekly webinars, 12 units of IELTS reading on our platform with interactive lessons, step-by-step approach to answer all types of reading questions, separate approach for academic and general. So if you're taking academic IELTS, you will have lessons separately. If you're taking general IELTS, you will have lessons separately. And at the end, guys, you'll have 5 practice tests at the end of the course. So that's more than enough. And anyway, you'll be attending live lessons weekly. In case you miss a lesson, you will have access to our recordings. Then writing, as you can see, we have focused a lot on writing. Weekly webinars, 14 units. All types of task to essay structures will be taught, over 100 model answers. And guys, you will have access to model essays written by an examiner. What more do you want, right? Because online you can find so many model essays written by students, and they are so misleading. You should not follow those model essays. When I was in Tashkent, I saw the trainer showing a model essay which is horrible, 500 words. And he was telling the students, I was in a hurry. That's why I wrote this essay. How is that's possible? Students are spending money to attend your lesson, and you're saying that, I'm sorry, this is not the right essay. I was in a hurry. You can't do that. That's not professionalism. That's misleading. So over 400 words related to 12 common topics. Students will be taught task 1 writing separately based on the model they choose, and up to 12 essays will be checked. We will check 8 task 2 essays and 4 task 1 descriptions. If you're taking general IELTS, 8 task 2 essays and 4 task 1 writing, like letter writing. And always remember, the essays will be assessed according to the marking criteria. And when it comes to the speaking part, weekly speaking workshops, 16 units with interactive tasks. A personal tutor will check your recorded answers because you'll be sending some recordings on the platform. Over 50 Band 9 model answers. So like, you will see model answers on our platform. You will listen to them and you will see how to improve your speaking answers as well. Then you will have 6 practice tests on the platform. You will record and you will send it to us and we'll provide feedback. So that's why our courses are effective. A step-by-step guidance teaching all the essential skills in listening and reading. So guys, remember, if you achieve a Band 7 or a Band 8 or even a Band 9, you know the opportunities ahead of you. If you take General IELTS, you achieve a 7.5. It's not just Canada or Australia. Today, even Dubai, they want their potential employees to pass IELTS. The same goes in Singapore. So if you prepare for this exam, more than the money, the time that you invest, and if you receive quality preparation, it will be a game changer for you all. So please keep that in mind. So like I said, guys, only in our course, we provide grammar lessons. Grammar is essential. So that's why when you join the IELTS Expert course, you will have a separate grammar course where we will teach you essential grammar skills, which is important for writing and for speaking. So please pay attention to that. 400 common words, because quite often students struggle with vocabulary, and not just teach you vocabulary, show you examples. We will help you to create your own examples. And during the speaking workshop, our ex-examiners will see whether you are able to use those uncommon words effectively. Then don't worry, you will have sufficient speaking practice. Yes, peer practicing is nice. Quite often, when I visit different centers, when I do my research as an official IELTS administrator, yeah, they say like, we have mock exams, we have students, offer peer practicing. It's fine, but the professional assessment is important too. So that's why with the expert course, you will receive feedback from ex-examiners, which is extremely valuable. It is really valuable. So like I said, essays are checked also by our examiners, so that will be useful. So IELTS Expert course compared to other courses, and especially online courses, I just want to compare. I want to make a comparison. So with us, guys, we will check 12 essays. Other courses, it's way more expensive, and they check only 4 essays online. Our groups are really small, so we call them as mini groups. You'll have 9 students in every group for the speaking part. We follow the proven method, which is called APIA. And quite often now, when it comes to IELTS preparation, there is no proper structure. You find a course, you join it, and there is no proper start and end. You just attend, and they say like, okay, you just keep attending, practice, then do a mock exam and see. It doesn't work like that. And an individual tutor, yes, with us, with the expert course, you'll always have a tutor on the platform who will keep answering your questions and will guide you. And I've already mentioned that because that's the key point. You'll be preparing with ex-examiners with Master IELTS Online. So here is a sneak peek of the platform. It's extremely interactive. It works on PC, and also you can use it with your mobile phone. So that's nice. But when you write essays, guys, make sure to kind of, use a laptop, because the computer-based exam is there, and I want you to become familiar with that. So it's very interactive. And as you can see, there are lessons. There are about 460 lessons, guys. For every section, we have about 200 lessons. So every lesson is dedicated to a question type. Then there are multiple choice questions. There are videos. So it's very interactive, user-friendly. And I guarantee not find a platform like this. So you will work on the platform, you will have live lessons, and you will have speaking workshop. Guys, the advantages of online preparation, right? Rather than attending those group lessons, you will not miss a single lesson. You can save your time and money on transport. Study at your convenience. Prepare whenever you want. Sometimes there could be issues. Maybe you don't have the time to prepare today, or maybe it was really urgent. you'll have access to the recordings. And believe me, comparatively, it's extremely effective. So guys, based on what I mentioned, the expert course is on a special offer. Do your research, you will not find it. So you have a limited time to join us. And always remember, guys, we have mini groups, so we cannot accommodate more than 7 students. So start registering now. Click the button below where it mentions click to buy the course and join, guys, if you want to achieve a very high score. Do not think twice, because we guarantee your score. And we have a wonderful team who will help you to prepare. So now I would like to introduce my team. The first trainer is Olga, who is our academic director. She's a CELTA certified trainer, and she is specialized in writing. Then we have Diana, who is also CELTA certified, and she is specialized in speaking and writing. So quite often you'll have speaking workshops with Diana. Then I would like to introduce Barry Ray, who is specialized in speaking. He's TEFL certified. So Barry has been involved in teaching for more than 10 years, and I'm pretty sure you will also enjoy his lessons. Then we have Alexander, who is also CELTA certified. Alexander is also a script writer. He's an actor, and also he's specialized in IELTS. You will love his lessons. So he's specialized in speaking and writing. Then I would like to introduce Alex Vlaso, who's TEFL certified. He is specialized in listening and reading. He has a direct approach. Students also love his lessons. Then we have Yana, who is CELTA certified, specialized in listening and reading. So when you join our expert course, you will have weekly live lessons, not only with me, but also with Alex and with Yana for listening and reading. And I'm pretty sure you will find those lessons interactive as well. So guys, like I said, please join. I'm pretty sure with what I've researched, with what I know now, our courses are extremely effective. Our main goal has always been to help students to achieve their required score in their first attempt. So please register, and I'm looking forward to teaching you very soon, guys. So before we move on, do you have questions? So please feel free to ask questions. I'll be more than happy to answer. So someone has asked how many months. So yes, remember the expert course is going to be 2 months. Live lessons is going to be for 2 months, like weekly live sessions for listening and reading, for writing. And then every Friday and Saturday, you will have speaking workshop. There's a question about speaking, whether we need to be informal in part 1 and formal. I wouldn't say so. It's more like your approach. So in part 1, if the examiner asks questions about do you like or how often, it's all about you. So keep it personal. It's all about you. But in part 3, we need to be more general. So yes, in part 3, the approach will be different, where we need to answer comparative questions. So it's more like writing an essay. So the structure and the approach would be different, because the questions would be like, what are the reasons? What solutions, right? So we need to use words which are more appropriate. But I would not say it should be informal and formal. It's English. So someone is asking, I plan to take IELTS in a month. Can I prepare with your course? Definitely you can. Like I said, those who joined our IELTS expert course, they followed an express approach. Our experts will help you. They will provide additional lessons, and you can take your exam in a month. And I'm pretty sure if you're already preparing, this expert course would be a booster. You will really refresh and learn so many things, and it will become even more effective. No, you will not. No, Madina, not recorded videos, live sessions. But if you miss the session, you will have access to the record, and then you can send your questions, and then I'll get back to you. So that's what we do. So we don't encourage recorded sessions. It's going to be live sessions, like for listening and reading and writing. But the speaking, you have to attend through Zoom. Gunay, great. So Gunay has registered, so that's lovely. Looking forward to teaching you, Gunay. Yes, Aizal, we accept Visa and MasterCard. You're going to pay through Stripe. Our company is located in France. So, we receive money through Stripe. So yes, you can pay through Visa and Master. We accept both. Ajan, we communicate with teachers. So the thing is, you can always communicate with us through our platform. Like I said, on our platform, there is a support unit. So you can always send your questions. Our consultant and our teachers, based on your questions, if it's an administrative question, our consultant will answer your question. Or if it's something academic related to the preparation, then our teacher or an expert would respond. But during the live sessions, you can always communicate with us. And during the speaking workshop, you will directly have a conversation with the ex-examiner. So we will definitely answer your question. I mean, we will definitely be in touch with you. That's not a question. Any more questions, guys? Guys, actually, what you need to understand is now IELTS is becoming popular. And what I can say is when I travel around, because as an official IELTS administrator, you know that I'm a director of an official testing center. We also have an exam center now in Tashkent in Uzbekistan. That was my main purpose. So, and also when I was in Sri Lanka, I met IDP. I had a discussion with them. So what I see now is that quite often students have this belief that for IELTS, they need to prepare for months and years, which is not true. Because it's very important to be organized and acquire all the important skills to achieve a very high score. And you need to prepare with certified trainers, certified IELTS trainers. So they should be CELTA certified, TEFL certified, or maybe it could be C1, C2, plus they need to go through specialized training. Now, in my career, because with my position, I trained so many teachers around the world. Not long ago, I had a session for teachers in Tashkent. What I see is that teachers also should understand how to give feedback, both for speaking and for writing. And that's why quite often students struggle, because even teachers don't know how to check essays. So it's a bit tricky, unfortunately. But I'm pretty sure that in the near future, these issues will be solved, could become much better. Madina, no, it's not just video lessons. Maybe there's a misunderstanding there. You will have video lessons. You will have interactive questions. So if you're referring to the platform, there'll be questions, multiple choice questions. You can click and it'll show you the correct answer. So it's really interactive. And also, we have integrated the platform to cater different question types. So for example, in reading, matching headings. So it's almost, I'm not saying it's exactly, it's almost like taking the computer-based exam. So you'll have multiple choice questions, matching headings, true, false, not given, and so on. So yes, Aishan, you will be assisted during the preparation. Any more questions, guys? So please register, guys. We are starting our new batch next week, and I'm looking forward to teaching you guys. And if you join us, you will join the speaking workshop from this weekend. So we have speaking workshops on Saturdays and also on Fridays, but already we have 9 students for the Friday lesson. So the next session will be if you join this Saturday or next Friday or the next Saturday. So we are starting our new batch, and you will have the first session with me next week. So guys, if you don't have questions, I wish you guys all the very best. And I wish you only the highest score in IELTS. In case you have questions about our course, you can always write to our consultant. But I see there's another question. So look, your level is 5, you say. I think it's Asif Ismail. My level is 5 band currently. Look, if your level is 5, why do you say it's 5? Who told you it's 5? Was it based on an objective assessment, or was it based on a subjective assessment? If it was based on an objective assessment, maybe it's true. But you need to see whether you feel it's a band 5 or whether someone told you it's a band 5. Can I increase 7 bandwidth course within a month? Well, it really depends. I don't want to lie. We need to really understand where you stand now. And I can say maybe not within a month, but within 8 weeks, you can work your way towards achieving a band 7. I had a student in 2015 who got a 5.5, and actually he achieved an overall 7. Once again, not 7 for each section, but achieved an overall 7 within 5 weeks, Asif. So within 5 weeks, achieved an overall 7. Okay, so you took the exam on the 7th of January. So it's extremely objective. It's reliable. Well, it depends. Asif, you need to kind of really assess what happened. Why did you achieve a band 5, right? What's your approach? But if you understood everything that I mentioned today, I'm pretty sure you will achieve a very good score, and we can help you. I'm pretty sure we can help you. If you're not in a rush, I would say it's better to take the exam in 2 months so that you have enough time to prepare effectively and achieve your band 7. And since you mentioned, Asif, I like your challenge, and I'll make sure that you will achieve a 7 after preparing with us, because I always love that kind of challenge. You know, when students say that they had a 5, they need to achieve a 7, but that gives a lot of satisfaction too. So good that you mentioned. So if you join us, we will definitely make sure that you achieve your required score. I understand that why you need a band 7. So I'm pretty sure you will work your way. So guys, like I said, we have a team of consultants. They'll be more than happy in case you have questions. Do you have more questions for me, guys? Okay, so no more questions. Thank you very much for your time. So guys, once again, all the very best. Wish you the highest score in IELTS. Stay in touch, and goodbye. Thanks for joining our lesson today. Thank you, guys. Olga?